Hey friends, welcome to another video here at Relab Academy. My name is Alvin. First of all, I'd like to apologize you haven't seen us uploading videos in the last few weeks, but that's really because we're in lockdown here in Melbourne, Australia for quite some time, more than what some of you might be going through in the rest of the world, but hopefully we get there, guys. Having said that, we're here, I'm back, I'm here to deliver some videos, and I really appreciate all of the comments that has come in. They're so constructive, and I love answering your questions as well. So if you have more questions, please just write them down in the comment box and I'll be sure to answer them. As a matter of fact, the topic today, which is how to become a product designer, it comes from some of the questions that you've posted, and I've seen a pattern about this, and I wanted to make a video, and hopefully it's clear enough, it brings you some value. Let's get into it. Okay, so how to become a product designer in 5 simple steps. I'm gonna try and spell this out in a very simple and easy way to understand, because there's all sorts of different ways on how you can get there. But the thing that I'd like to cover is, first of all, let's discuss about what product designer is. So product designer, in really simple terms, it's basically, oh, and by the way, I'm talking about digital product designers. There are physical product designers as well, or industrial design. As a matter of fact, I have another video coming up for this, so stay tuned. But in here, I'm talking about digital product designers. So these are designers who design digital products like web applications, mobile applications, the things that you use on your smartphones or in your computers, basically. So a product designer is really a combination of UX design, UI design, but there's a lot of other aspects and elements that's brought into the picture here, and it's about business needs, it's about customer research, customer needs. You're really trying to innovate within the intersection of business needs and customer needs. And in addition to that, there are other things as well that's involved in a product design world, which a product designer might be focused in just the one product. So if I take an Uber Eats example, so you might be a product designer working for Uber, but specifically on the Uber Eats drivers app only. And there's another product designer that works on the rest of the other products that Uber has. Hopefully that makes sense, but that's really what a product designer is. And how does one become a product designer? Digital product designer. Step number 1 is to figure out your why. It is important in everything that you do is to understand, why do you want to do it? Is it about the money? Because these days product designers earn quite a bit as well, especially when you work for some of the big tech startups out there. They do make quite a lot of money, but is it really about the money? Is it about your passion understanding user demographics, user needs, the psychographics and all of that? Or do you understand, do you appreciate telling stories to your users? Or are you actually more interested in understanding business needs and like how to build a startup and stuff like that? So I think it's important for you to understand that. So there's a purpose for you to become a product designer. So what you need to do is to learn the basic skills of product design, and this comes down to user experience design or user interface design. There are 2 ways to do this. One is going through the formal route, and the other way is going through an informal route. Formal means you go for an academic qualification with, like a university or a college or something like that. You could get a degree, a diploma, a certificate around, some call it product design, but some might call it user experience design, user interface design, or any other courses that leads to that same pathway. Some people start from graphic design or communications design, and some people start from development, actually, whether it's computer science or engineering and stuff like that. But when there's a will, there's a way. You could always get into a product design pathway if you put yourself into that position to be able to get that opportunity. The informal way is really being self-taught, and I've met many product designers, engineers out there that are self-taught and doing really well. And in fact, I think with most, at least here in Relab, I know and some of my peers and some of the other agencies out there, we don't really look out for your bachelor's degree or your qualifications, but it's really your portfolio is the most important thing. So being self-taught does not mean you lose opportunities, but as a matter of fact, you could learn a lot more as well. And there are so many ways here for you to self-teach yourself, whether it's through YouTube channels like this, or through courses like Udemy. Interaction Design Foundation is a really good one if you wanted to get into digital product design or user experience, user interface. But there's so many other avenues out there. If you're, say, like working full-time as an accountant, a barista, or whatever it is, but you really wanted to get into digital product design or UX design, then there are ways for you to self-teach yourself without having to commit to a university degree. Step number 3 is to build your product design portfolio and credibility. And the way to do this is really for you to build cases that allows you to compile your work and showcase it to people, or build your portfolio, whether it's in a website or basically the things that will allow you to go to someone and say, hey, look at this, I know what I'm doing, I have an interest in this, and I'll be able to do the stuff that you wanted me to do as a product designer. And even if you're just a junior or you're just starting up, have 1 or 2, whether it's from your university or the course that you did. Normally you'll have assignments, and then just do it really well, or redo them if you're not happy enough. But it allows you to showcase, to your potential employer or your potential client that you know this thing. Right, so that's probably one of the most important thing when you're trying to get an opportunity. Even if you don't, just allow yourself time to build, a couple of really good ones that showcases the process. A lot of the times in product design, it's really about the process rather than just the outcome. So like build a portfolio that showcases the process from the research bit all the way of you trying to like prioritize things and be able to actually produce a prototype and an outcome and a result, and then for you to be able to explain the findings as well. So number 3 is to build your portfolio. Step number 4 is to find opportunities. Now that you've got your portfolio ready, you've got a page ready in your website saying, I've done this project, this is the process, and this is the findings that I've found, and the results that I've achieved. Now you can go out and find opportunities. Or when you meet someone that says, okay, so you're learning product design, can I see what you're doing? We might have a role or an opportunity for you. You could showcase this 1 or 2 projects that you might have created before, but find opportunities to prove yourself. Opportunities don't come, overnight. There are times when you feel like, you haven't really achieved anything, or no one's coming, or no one's coming back to you in all of your inquiries. But just, stay still and keep it in there, and always try and build your cases and build your portfolio, because when you're passionate about it, that's all you can think of, really. But when the time comes and someone comes knocking on your door and say, hey, I've got this project, can you help me out with this? What have you done in the past? You could always pull up that portfolio that you did really, really well and invested your time in, and showcase that to that person. All right, so number 4 is to find opportunities, and if you don't stop and hang in there. Now, step number 5 is to continue to build your reputation and never stop learning. Now that you've got that one opportunity that came into you, you did that project, you may have failed, you may have been successful, you may have learned something from that project that you did. All you need to do is to continue build your reputation. So even if you've achieved wins, one of the most hardest thing to do is to retain that win and to continue do better over time, right? So the best thing is for you to, after you finish a project, sit down, look back to yourself, do a little bit of a retrospective, and then figure out how else could you do that better. Because as a product designer, and as a matter of fact, in everything that you do, you never really stop learning. You always try to continue better your craft in everything that you do. Even in product design, there's always new tools. There's always new ways. If you use Figma as an example, they always come up with all sorts of new different features every now and then that allows you to be better in executing your product design work or your design. So there is always something new to learn, and in every next project that you do, you could actually do better than the previous one. Even if it's just a tiny bit, you could always improve yourself. So never stop learning, and that's really how you maintain your reputation and continue building over it. And by the time you know it, after 2-3 years time, you may become a much, much better product designer than what you were when you were just starting in that step number 1. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys, and hopefully it's practical enough and easy enough for you to understand. But essentially, I'll summarize this. Being a product designer means you need the skills, right? You need the UX design skills, you need the visual design skills or the UI design skills. Between all of that, you'll definitely learn a little bit of user research. You'll be able to learn about a couple of other skill sets that will come with UX and UI design, and when they're combined, that almost gives you almost like 80 to 90% of the capability to be able to become a digital product designer. In addition to that, you'll understand business needs, a little bit of customer experience and service design as well won't hurt to know, but essentially, first and foremost, you're a designer, you're just trying to help people, you're trying to solve problems for them with your superpower design skills in today's age, which is all about digital. So hopefully that's helpful for you, and I'm really happy that I'm back here with this video, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. Thank you guys.